Welcome to this help video about the history of emotions and the bibliography of British and Irish history, which I will now refer to as BBIH. With BBIH, your work will be easier and better because it helps you find high-quality articles and books. In this help video, we're going to start by having a quick look at the history of emotions. We'll look at two ways of using the history of emotions. The first is if you want to study a particular emotion and its history, and we're taking love as our example. The other is if you want to use emotions as a methodology to support your main historical topic. In this case, we're going to look at the Gulf Wars as our example. We'll use example scenarios and searches and throw in a few BBIH tips along the way. Finally, we'll have a look at the History of Emotions reading list. So what is so special about the history of emotions? One reason emotions are interesting to historians is that emotions are now considered to be learned through, for example, society, family, and events. This means they are historical and change over time, place, and social group. Big historical events or changes such as war or changes in the economy create different emotional norms. The COVID pandemic, for example, created a shift in emotions, and a lot of research is taking place into these changes. Frameworks such as gender, race, and class are also seen to modulate emotional norms. Emotional norms tell us something about the historical moment. Equally, emotions are part of how change happens. They are implicated in the process of historical change. They are another tool for historians to use to analyze the past. Let's say we want to look at love. In this case, we're looking at a particular emotional state. Our scenario is that this is your first step. You want to find a topic to study in the category of emotions, and you're trying to nail it down. I open the search and then select Emotions and Mental States in the subject field, and look in the subcategories, but love isn't one of them. This time, we'll put the term love into the Search Anywhere box on the advanced search page, and here we get lots of results. Let's try and narrow it down, maybe to a place. Ireland could be an interesting choice. 170 items come up, so maybe you can narrow this further by selecting a period, say 1800 to 1850. So now you're down to 55. You can sort these more easily. You'll see different themes emerge on the keyword love. The most obvious category is sex, marriage, and relationships. But you can see there are several other topics, like religion, quite a few on the nation and nationalism. Other themes emerge such as migration and famine. So have a browse and start building up your own reading list by using all the different options, such as by keyword, biographical details, and places. You can also filter in different ways by using the options on the left-hand side. Filter, for example, by new items or items that contain a link to the full text. One of the listings from this search was an article about Charles Stewart Parnell. Let's click on the record and see where it takes us. Firstly, you can look at the subject tree categories in the classification details. This will give you more about the source and where it's situated. If the article has sparked your interest, you can look at the links from the person as subject detail and see what else you can find on Parnell. The Oxford DNB, the Dictionary of National Biography, is a great place to start. If you're really serious about this, this record connects you to the National Archives, also known as the TNA. These archives help you find good primary sources for your research. So maybe you find some articles or books that you like. You can save your searches by doing a simple export. Say you're interested in emotions related to nationalism and identity. Check the ones you have identified to be of interest and click on Export in the top right-hand corner. There you have a good starting point for your essay or research project. You can set up an alert for these search results so that when new records are added, you get an email. New records are posted about 3 times a year. You can find other subject terms that help you find content related to love. Think about the life cycle, such as relationships, courtship, marriage, sex. These are places where you could look. But also remember that there are other forms of love outside the category of intimate relationships. Love for country, objects, nature are other examples. These all have a history and are good research topics. Next, I want to look at the history of emotions as a methodology. I use it to tell me something else about a historical topic. It's another perspective. These topics could be anything from war to political change to a study of gender conformity, migration, childhood, for example. Let's use this scenario. You're a master's student looking at the 2 recent Gulf Wars, also known as the Iraq Wars. This comes up with lots of results. So I want to narrow it down to emotions and mental states to find the listings where articles about the wars are combined with emotions. But this comes up with one result. I like the protest angle, so I try another way and work around this topic. I look at Gulf Wars and political activism. This is a workaround that helps you build up a good reading list for your Gulf War and Emotions project. Other examples could be combining the search with war and militarism attitudes too, or looking at sources such as autobiographical materials. These are different ways in which you can include emotions in your history topic. I'm going to end this help video with a quick look at the History of Emotions reading list. This reading list is a much wider look at recent publications in the history of emotions. There are over 500 items. You can simply scroll down the list and open links to the articles and books. They aren't categorized in any way except that they are published in the last 3 years. It's like a snapshot of the most up-to-date writing within the history of emotions. It's very diverse in subject, geography and time period. You can use it to look at different methodologies, or you can use it as inspiration to write an essay. As a historian of emotions and empire, I can see what is new. Some of these listings contain links to articles which may be open access. The reading list is not in the BBIH system. This reading list is available for everyone. To conclude then, you can use the BBIH to search by emotional state and then refine to build your own reading list. Or you can search by historical topic and select emotions and mental states in the subject tree. You can look at cultural responses too. That will sometimes surface emotions. You can use the reading list to see the latest research on the history of emotions. And you can set up an alert to show you what new content is added to the bibliography, or download your own reading list. Thank you, and good luck with your research.